Travis Wayne Goodsell. We're closing in on the evening hour in 20 minutes, 19 minutes. And in the Jewish calendar, we're going to be switching over to Shabbat. No more Tevet. And so this is kind of significant because Monson died in Tevet, the 15th, which was January 2nd. So this January 2nd, we have it on Shabbat in the evening. So far, nothing. The prophecy is that the false prophet is supposed to die. And using the Book of Mormon, because the Book of Mormon is true, tells us exactly who the great and abominable church is, and thus who the false prophet is for the latter day time period. And that's Russell M. Nelson. Book of Mormon is true. Therefore, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is false. It's real simple. Mormons either believe it or they don't. And if they don't believe the Book of Mormon, why are you Mormon? And if you do believe the Book of Mormon, why are you Mormon? It's a real simple concept. We were told there would be false prophets and false Christs and false teachers in the latter days. They would be of the great and abominable church, and Mormons would be put into a position where they could be deceived unless they studied their scriptures, to look for the signs of the second coming, to know which church was the great and abominable church. So, our theology for Mormonism is now that we, as the youth of the noble birthright in the premortal council in heaven, were reserved for this day to be born and raised in the great and abominable church so that we could say no and leave it. Never thought that would happen, did you? And so here we are. Now, Nelson has really destroyed the church, taking away the high priest group, taking away home teaching, such that the phone communication line system was gone right when a certain creeping death appeared as a pandemic, which could have been very helpful in such circumstances, and thus why it was organized, not just to make sure Mormons were paying their full tithe and going to church and temple, reading their scriptures, praying to the idol god. It was gone. And yeah, there's the ministering thing. Yeah, it's now we do nothing. All activities for the church gone. Church stopped the Boy Scouts just in time, so that they have to be sued separately. And so the youth activities are pretty much crap. They're not like the youth activities that I grew up with. Road shows and sports and scouting and other things and activities that we did. We're turning into do-it-yourself Mormonism. You've joined the church, make sure you pay your tithing to participate. And then that's it. Taking away leadership opportunities, trimming down the church, cutting out an hour from church, And Mormons are leaving en masse. He is purging the church. My brother lost 15 million Mormons because that's his job that he got as a PhD, to hunt down missing Mormons, which he calls research. And so the church isn't even bothering to publish membership numbers anymore, as they're now claiming this year coronavirus messed things up. Not last year, this year. And yes, we're going a third year as Nelson refuses to shut down the church to save Mormon lives. As missionaries, Mormons are all getting sick and hospitalized and dead. All ages. He's purging the church. He's supposed to be a shepherd, to care for his flock. You don't care for your flock by getting them all sick and dead. You don't starve them to death. You don't hand them over to the wolves. So, everything was so intensive. Everything pointed to this. And maybe that's just it. Maybe Nelson gets to watch as the church is utterly gutted and destroyed before his very eyes. With Mormons gone, with everything fallen into ruin, reputation ruined all over the world, because the whole world now knows that the church is hoarding money. Not a good thing if you're a religion. Didn't work out too well for evangelicals. They became the butt of jokes. And here now the church, who used to have a good reputation in the world, is becoming the butt of jokes. Is that what you wanted, Mormons? Does that show the church is true? It's getting angry and defensive, helping to show that the church is true? You better respect my religion, or else. Is that working for you? Desnat on the rise? Is that working for the church, guys? You helping or hurting the church? So, I do see that my stupid is as stupid does is doing very well off the gate. Thanks a lot, Mr. Stupid. Well done. He thought he could hide. Behind his computer. He's probably 300 pounds living in his mother's basement. He knows nothing of Mormonism. My God, Mormons. You're Mormon and you don't know Mormonism? And you're trying to defend the church when you don't even know the church you're a part of. It's just sad. Literally sad. I was born and raised in the church. I knew that if I'm going to speak with my born-again Christian peers about religion, I'm going to have to know Mormonism. And maybe you thought, oh, well, I'm here with all my neighbors who are all Mormon. We all go to the same school. We all go to the same church ward. Everything's well in Zion. I don't have to study my religion. My peers will create what Mormonism is for us. And we'll create standards and values. above and beyond. It's like you guys never even read your New Testament, let alone listened every 4 years when it came around again. That's what the Pharisees did. And you claim Jesus is your Christ and that you're supposed to emulate him from the text. What did Jesus do to the Pharisees? And so you get mad at me for doing what Jesus did to the Pharisees? Which are you guys? Please. It's just pathetic. It literally is pathetic. This is not the church I was born and raised in. The church I studied. This isn't it. It's night and day different. And the more I've been studying, it's even more different than I thought. I learned what the creed is. The very first creed that Jesus says is an abomination in his sight. And Mormons don't even know what it is. So there you go. I did that video for you. Thank you, Mr. Stupid. And I've done it again. I just repeating the same information. Very few times I come up with new stuff for you. Come up with lots of new jokes. But a lot of this stuff I have to keep repeating because nobody's listening. Nobody's catching on. Nobody wants to believe. And when I do a title that is offensive to Mormons, they run and hide. They don't want to listen to that. Well, you're not reading your scriptures to study for yourself about the dangers of doing that. Yes, dangers. But you don't believe. So, like I said, today was just a test. You observe patterns, and Revelation 12 from the Joseph Smith translation was what I was recognizing patterns of. Lunar eclipses with deaths of LDS prophets, presidents even. As I did the charts, I've done the study, that was my education, self-designed. And so, yes, I literally am the scientific fields of prophet, seer, revelator, and translator, where Nelson just doesn't even care to try. It's sad and pathetic. He gets up there and he just botches scripture interpretation, he botches translation from the ancient languages. It's just sad and pathetic. It's just laughable. Every time he opens his mouth, it's just a joke of how wrong he is. And you got to wonder, is he doing this on purpose, out of malevolence, or is he really this dumb? Does he really not know Mormonism? He only got to be an apostle because he saved President Kimball's life. That's it. He was rewarded for saving President Kimball's life. And I can understand, as a medical doctor, you got long years of schooling. You've got long years and long hours in a job. And so, you have very little time to actually study Mormonism. And so maybe that explains it, but you think he still would have learned the lessons from his scientific field to apply to Mormonism. And he just doesn't. He teaches contrary. It's like Mormonism is the antithesis of science. And it's just scary. Here we have a medical doctor during creeping death. And you'd think, wow, that was divinely inspired by Jesus. And yet, he's letting Mormons die. He's telling them the healing power of gratitude. Have faith in Jesus. Save yourselves with prayer and fasting. As he keeps church open. Church is a super spreader. It always has been. It's been in the news. Church becomes a super spreader. And it's not talking about the Mormon church, but the Mormon church is a part of it because Nelson opens up the churches. You went to church today. You dumbasses. And so, yes, next week, all this week, starting Wednesday, I wouldn't be surprised at all if the numbers kept skyrocketing. Just like they did last week after church. I mean, I saw this among my worldly peers. I can't say non-Mormon because there's no Mormon association whatsoever with them. They thought Mormonism was of the devil. Turns out they were right. But they were always trying to get people to believe lies. Oh yeah, space aliens abducted these people and probed them. Bigfoot is real. JFK was shot by aliens. And they'd be having people do dumbass things. You know, oh, put your tongue on this frozen pole. Stuff like that to cause harm to other people. Because people are dumb to believe them. And they just laugh. You believe me. You're stupid. They were that mean and abusive. And here's the prophets, supposed to be the shepherds to watch over the flock, and they're doing exactly what my childish childhood peers were doing malevolently to other peers who would be that gullible. The FBI has already warned Utah that Utah is the most gullible state for scams. And we've had issues where bishops scam their ward members. But, I mean, this is just a whole new level of evil. To have the president and prophets of the church pulling this scam on Mormons. You know, it's fine. If the church wants to be Christian and denounce all things Joseph and the Book of Mormon, great. Just be honest about it. Just say, hey, we don't believe in Joseph and the Book of Mormon. We're changing this church. We're hinge pointing. This is what we're hinge pointing it to. We're Christian now. Evangelical. We're just another Christian religion. Fine. Okay, great. Let Mormons go who want to go. Don't force them to stay. Don't threaten them if they leave. You know, you got to be honest. And they can't. They just keep lying and lying and lying. Oh yeah, we're the true church of Jesus. We're Christian. So, alrighty, it's now 6. It's now the next month. So it looks like the Tree of Life month is now upon us. So Esther becoming queen of Persia is now over and done with officially. And so, yeah, this, like I said, this was a test. You watch, observe the patterns, recognize anomalies, develop a theory to explain the anomalies with the patterns, and then run a test for prediction purposes to see if the predictions come to pass and are confirmed. And you get multiple confirmations and you've got a fact. And so far it's turning into an anomaly, negative result. But it's not over with yet, because technically it's still the second. The quadranted meteor showers will begin tonight at their peak, and that is that for that. So maybe 10:01, the same as Monson. That would be quite a shocker, but that has not ever been a pattern, that a prophet has died on the same day and time. That would be very blatant if that were to occur. Otherwise, I then have to go back and figure out something else. We're still in the tetrad. That needs to be understood, is that 3 apostles died after the 3rd and 4th tetrad, and so in May is the 3rd of the tetrad, until November election day is the 4th and final one. And so it means that I will be destroyed and will not be able to observe and participate anymore. Church destroyed me. They sent me the death threats, told me to be silent. I didn't listen, and now I'm destroyed. And so, kind of sucks, because this year there's a whole ton of stuff. I mean, we're going to have a brand new star in the heavens. We're going to have a brand new sun. We will have 2 suns in the heavens. Not kidding. Belteges, or whatever it's pronounced, it's going to blow anytime. And when it blows during the daytime, it will look like the sun. It's going to be awesome. And of course, during the night, it's going to be brighter than the moon. It's just going to be awesome. And then the new star, that's for my birthday. For Purim. Esther saves the Mormons. But I get to miss it all. And that sucks. Alrighty, because if something were to happen, Oaks would just take over, and then he would secede from Utah from the United States, form the new Deseret, start polygamy. All your little daughters, underage daughters, would become his wife. He'd probably increase the amount of tithing you owed, too. Wouldn't surprise me at all. But he would be crowned as King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Oh yeah, I'm stepping in for Jesus. He's still the real King of Kings, Lord of Lords. I'm just filling in. I'm keeping his seat warm. Where's my harem? Little girls, where are ya? Oh dear God. So you guys are in for a nightmare. I keep warning you. You don't believe, you trust in Jesus. The big old con. So, alrighty. Yeah, if something does happen, I'll obviously do a video. But my time is running out. And Mormons are still trying to silence me, still trying to murder me before my time. You know you're not the true church when you're bad, when you're the villain of the scriptures. Mormons just don't care. I mean, just be honest. That's all I'm asking. Just be honest. You worship Lucifer. You're the bad guy. You're criminal. I get it. Just be honest. And you can't tell the truth. You're emulating the prophets, who likewise just can't be honest with us. So, good night.